Well, hello and welcome to Channel 102 and Starset. You're watching Galaxy News and this is Morning Express. I am Vuyo. Let's take a look at your headlines this hour. DLAMIN ZUMA Gazette's newly amended regulations. Energy and Minerals Minister opens up mines. Department of Defense apologizes for Alex murder. Illegal land and invaders evicted in LAWLEY. And over 10,000 people arrested during lockdown in Gauteng, Makura revealed. Panda slams abusive treatment of Africans in China. Britain extends a lockdown as China's Wuhan releases update stats on COVID-19 cases. And we give you sports as we wrap up. The Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs has a gazetted amendment state of the National Disaster Regulations, which focuses on the extension of the lockdown period to 30 April 2020. In a statement, DLAMIN stated that the amendments lay a foundation for the risk-adjusted measures in order to enable a phased recovery of the economy. Now, this will be allowing the return to operate of certain sectors under strictly controlled conditions. The minister also announced that while the movement of children between co-holders of parental responsibilities, it remains prohibited to separated or divorced parents who share custody of the child or children will now have visitation rights. Now, in an effort to lessen the impact of on people, the minister added that trades necessary for the rendering of emergency repair work, including plumbers, electricians, locksmiths, are now permitted to operate. Now, here is what the minister had to say in a statement.
When the president spoke last week, he pointed out that at midnight, it will be exactly 3 weeks since our country entered into the unprecedented nationwide lockdown to contain the spread of the virus. He outlined the measures we have to take, as well as the changes that we have each had to make in our own behavior, and that together we have definitely slowed the spread of the virus. So today we are not coming up with many new regulations. We are extending the regulations that exist, that we are using today, but because the lockdown has been extended, we are extending those regulations. We will announce a few amendments to those regulations, and that's what we are going to talk about now. But I also want to explain that when we do stop the lockdown, we cannot do it abruptly, that today it's complete lockdown, tomorrow it's open completely. So we have to phase in so that there is an orderly move towards what would be a normality. But also to explain that there are measures that will...
And the Mineral and Energy Minister, Mandasha, revealed that as per the amendments regulations, South African mines will now be able to operate at half capacity in an orderly and incremental manner. The amendments state that mines will be allowed to restart and ramp up capacity depending on conditions, which include the screening of employees for COVID-19 symptoms and the availability of quarantine facilities and transport arrangements for workers. The government has ordered most underground mines and furnaces to be put on care and maintenance during the lockdown, which started on March 27th and has been extended until the end of April. Now, apart from coal mines supplying state power utility, miners have been lobbying the government to allow them to resume a production which controls in place to detect and contain COVID-19. On Thursday late, Mandasha told news conference that the government knew there were risks associated with keeping some deep-level mines closed for the extended lockdown period. Now, here is what it was said on a video statement.
So all those are in full operation. The rest of the mines, there is another category of mines that we said operate at reduced capacity to actually maintain the infrastructure. And there are also mines that were totally closed. Now, in the amendment, we are identifying a risk, particularly in deep mines. If they are left alone for a long time, the stability of the ground get tampered with. Number two, gases accumulate, and you may actually come up and be confronted with disasters like methane gas and other gases, or prevalence of seismicity and rockfall. That's why we say we must allow a situation of phased-in recall of workers to work in those mines and actually deal with the question of ramping up the production in those mines. That will do two things: minimize the risk of accidents and disasters. Number two, it will also sustain the infrastructure of production in the mines. Now, there was a question that was saying, will we allow social labor plan man to be redirected to address problems of COVID-19? We have not limited it to social labor plan. We said we'll take a portion of rehabilitation reserves, particularly the interest thereof, to actually be used and be accessible to address the risks of COVID-19. Therefore, we are quite committed to those. If you look into the condition that has been attached to this regulation amendment, you will see that we're also refocusing the mines to screening, testing, and actually integrate their systems to the national system. So if you screen and you find cases, those cases must be reported in the national figures. And that's why we put there. And the last...
Now, Defense and Military Minister Nosiviwe MAPISA-NQAKULA says the government regrets and hangs its head in shame over the incident that led to the death of an Alexandra, a man who died allegedly at the hands of the South African National Defence Force member over the weekend. Now, speaking at the briefing on Thursday, as she said her department will not at any point defend what happened. She insisted that as the incident may have caused tensions, government should not be projected as mean and uncaring. NQAKULA further stated that the unfortunate incident is being investigated by the SAPS, the military police and military ombuds office. Here's what she said.
South African National Defence Force and all the security forces were on site at the time. Just to say that we've noted this report, and you may have picked up that yesterday the Chaplain General, together with some of the few soldiers who were around the area, we actually requested them to visit the family home and to pass condolences on behalf of the South African government and to reassure the family that there is investigation which is currently going on. The investigation is conducted by the South African Police Services, by the military police, and also the military ombuds office. We are therefore unable to comment at this point about what the next course of action is going to be, but just to say to South Africans, we are saddened by what happened. We regret that which happened. We do not know exactly what the circumstances were which led to such, but that investigation, which is currently underway, will soon provide us with more information, and therefore we will be able to determine what steps to take at that point. But it's equally important for us to keep in mind that in such cases, obviously the law will take its course. And yes, as we have said before, our appeal is that our people should stay indoors. People should remain at home. People should not venture out to check what soldiers, what the police, and what the metros are.
Now, dozens of homes were destroyed by the red ants in LAWLEY in the southern Johannesburg on Thursday, despite regulations stating that no one should be evicted during the nationwide lockdown period. However, defending the evictions, the city of Johannesburg said the residents living there had occupied the land illegally and that this sort of behavior would not be tolerated. The city said the men in red are under strict instructions only to demolish structures that have not been occupied yet, meaning those with furniture or people inside must be left as they are. Let's quickly go to a short break. When we come back, we'll bring you more news and stories after this.
For unbiased, uncensored news updates, rely on Galaxy News. We are fearless, zero favor and zero fiction.
We are the bridge that connects you from the rural to the urban.
From Times Square to Mary Fitzgerald Square, we're sure to give you the hottest stories from all four corners of the globe.
Bringing the latest news on business trends at the speed of light and transporting you to a world unseen.
Now so we come fly, go enter Lagos. The Zanga, inside Zanga for Lagos.
From the boardroom to the fan park and to the field.
Op ons kanaal nuus wat jou sal skok en verras.
Sources at the ranks, banks and all places buzzing with action.
Sports, business, politics, your entertainment, fashion trends. We're talking of breaking news, exclusive and certainly the hottest stories in town.
For Galaxy News, I am Vuyo Mgwelo.
Now maybe this your boy, Osilama Otono.
Itabakeng Khatlo from Galaxy News.
I am Katlo Mukhampanyane from Galaxy News.
I am Susanda Nomosaka Kwabe Kuto for Galaxy UN.
As Bayiskalimtina.
Welcome back to Morning Express. Now, the Gauteng provincial government has welcomed the arrest of over 10,000 people for breaking lockdown regulations, of which 54 were detained in connection with vandalism, arson and break-ins at public schools on Thursday. Gauteng Premier David Makhura giving an update on measures taken by the Gauteng Province Police to combat the spread of coronavirus and mitigate its impact. He urged residents to comply with enforcement and compliance measures after receiving reports of a high number of arrests during the period. Now, so far, over 10,126 suspects have been arrested and 9,624 cases opened, as 7,408 are currently awaiting to appear in court. Makhura also further expressed his appreciation to the millions of people in the province for adhering and observing the regulations, as the Gauteng Province Police remains concerned with the rise in number of infections in the province, which has remained the epicenter of the outbreak in South Africa. Let's take a look at the video.
To thank, lastly, all workers who are engaged in essential services, who continue to do a great job of ensuring that they meet the demands of our residents in various areas of work. In particular, the health professionals, the various emergency workers, the law enforcement and security officers who have been doing tremendous work, and particularly those who have been acting according to book, who have been conducting themselves in accordance with the law. We're giving a shout out to them. We're saying we appreciate the work that they have been doing.
Well, Gauteng remains the epicenter of the outbreak, with 930 of the 2,506 national confirmed cases, while Johannesburg accounts for 558 of the cases, with only 5 deaths out of 48 nationally. And the International Relations and Cooperation Minister Naledi Pandor said she abhors racism and prejudice and discrimination, as well as the negative treatment of people because of their color and gender. Pandor, speaking about the recent spike of alleged racist incidents against Africans in Guangzhou, China, lambasted the reported negative treatment of Africans in some parts of the Asian nation. Pandor said their feelings were made known through appropriate channels, the embassy here in South Africa, as well as through the African Union, which has been in communications with the People's Republic of China in Addis Ababa. Let's take a look at what the minister had said.
South Africa abhors racism, prejudice and discrimination. And we reject any treatment of a person in a negative way because of their color, their gender, and all the other facets that are within our Constitution. We firmly believe in equality. And so we have made our feelings known through the appropriate channels, the embassy here, as well as through the African Union, which has been in communication with the representative of the People's Republic of China in Addis Ababa. Our president has made reference to this in his communications with President Xi, and all of us have been assured by the Foreign Minister of China, Minister Wang Yi, that the reports, the allegations that have been made offend the principles and values of China, and that they will see to it that Guangzhou's municipal government corrects all of the negative allegations and actions that have been reported. It's been really painful to watch Africans reporting as to how they are treated. And I believe China has begun to respond. I'm hopeful that they are responding positively, and that the actions that have been alleged are being stopped. I just think it was a most awful thing to hear about the People's Republic of China, but I believe, given our friendship and their friendship to Africa, that they will attend to this matter urgently and with diligence and honesty.
Now, Britain's extended its nationwide lockdown for at least another 3 weeks on Thursday, and stand-in leader Dominic Raab ordered Britons to stay at home to prevent the spread of the coronavirus outbreak, which has already claimed over 138,000 lives globally. Raab, who is deputizing in absence of Prime Minister Boris Johnson, is recuperating from COVID-19 complications at his home. He told reporters that relaxing at any of the measures currently in place would risk damage to both public health and the economy. Let's take a look at what Raab said.
Grim-told people who have so sadly passed away. I walk away from here and I think about what their sons and their daughters must be going through right now. Their brothers, their sisters, their grandchildren, all the loved ones left behind with that unbearable, life-changing, long-term grief. It makes this government focus even harder on what we must do. And I know that together, united, we must keep up this national effort for a while longer.
Raab has been leading the UK while Prime Minister Boris Johnson recovers from his own life-threatening coronavirus infection. The UK is one of the worst-hit countries by the pandemic, with over 13,000 dead as of Thursday. The extension was expected, and the leader of Britain's opposition Labour Party, Keir Starmer, agrees with it, but says the Conservative government needs to be more transparent about how exactly it intends to eventually phase out the lockdown.
Excellent.
Now, this comes as the UK became the 6th country in the world to surpass the 100,000 infection mark. And China's Wuhan city, the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak, said on Friday it had revised its total coronavirus death toll by 1,290, admitting that many cases were mistakenly reported or missed entirely, according to a state-run CCTV. Now, the latest data brings the total number of deaths in the city to 3,869. The change also pushes the nationwide death toll up to nearly to 39%, which is 4,632 based on official national data released earlier on Friday. While Wuhan revised confirmed cases by 3,025 to 50,333. And now in sports, a former boxing promoter Damien Michael, who brought a world-renowned ring announcer Malcolm Buffer to South Africa to work on an extravaganza that lost him $700,000, died after a long battle with cancer at the age of 42. Michael, a sevens rugby player for the Lions, first made his money in restaurants with ventures like Chefs in Motion and My Grill by Bar, registering a turnover of 24 million rands in a single year. And in cricket, South Africa's first bowler Lungingidi has attributed his amazing return from 8 months on the sidelines to take 12 wickets in the 4 one-day international and 13 wickets in 6 2020 matches to bowling coach Karl Lagerfeld. Now, this comes in light of a stunning return to form in limited over series against England and Australia at the end of the 2019-20 season before the COVID-19 lockdown. Well, that's it from us here on Morning Express and myself. We'll see you guys again next week. Have a good weekend.